So I've been playing the full early access build of Skate for quite a few hours now and explored all parts of the city from top to bottom, completed countless of missions and challenges, and went head to head with other skaters or skated with them and around them. And today I want to show you what you can expect when you start playing Skate and if the game is actually good and if it's even worth your time or not. And usually I would also ask if the game is worth your money, but in this case this is not important because the game is free to play. Even in early access it will be free to play, and in about a year from now when it launches into the full release it will also be free to play. So the game will be released on September 16th into early access on Xbox, PlayStation and PC. And I think what's important, especially for the console players, is that on PlayStation and Xbox it will also be available on the old gen consoles. So on Xbox One and also on PS4. But that was it so far for the little details you need to know before we head into the game. Now let's have a look at what you can expect. So after a short intro, Skate throws you right into the city of San Amsterdam. And it might not be too big now, or might not seem too big now, but we have 4 parts of the city: Hedgemont, Goldcrest, Market Mile and Brixwich, and 3 of them are already available as part of the early access or at the early access launch. So you start in Hedgemont, then make your way to Goldcrest, then to Market Mile and Brixwich. You can skate over there, but there are no missions or anything. Now there is a bit of lore around the city and around Skate, which revolves around a company called M Corp that was leading the city and was basically into stopping skating and its culture. So basically like the lore that we know from the older Skate games. But when you jump into the city, M Corp has already left because things went south, and now skateboarding is taking over and skaters are taking over, and skateboarding is nothing that is forbidden anymore, and it also has nothing rebellious anymore. So if you're looking to annoy pedestrians, for example, or you're looking for security guards that will stop you from skating, or even for skate stoppers that you might have to remove, this is not the case in Skate anymore. You won't find any of that, which I think is already a huge difference to the former entries. But not everything is different from the previous games of the franchise. So, for example, when you open the map, you have a lot of challenges, and these will be familiar to you, or some of them at least, when you have played the former games. So for example, we have own the spot challenges, where you have to skate a spot and you have to do certain tricks, or you have to hit a certain score in order to own it. Or you have line challenges, where you have to collect bearings but still hit a certain score or do a certain amount of tricks or some specific tricks to fully complete the challenge. And we also have stunt challenges, which are former Hall of Meat challenges, but they're not made in the exact same way. So there are no broken bones anymore, anything, and it's more about completing certain requirements instead of breaking every bone in your body. So I would say this was made maybe a little bit more family friendly at this point. So you have challenges that you can do once and then they are completed, and then there are challenges that are repetitive and they change every 24 hours. So they return, and there is a number of challenges that you can do every day and every 24 hours, and you basically do them to earn score, to earn reputation, and also to earn rib chips. Now, in addition to these challenges, what you have as well are missions. So these will guide you through the lore, but will also introduce you to the game and to its mechanics. And what you can also do What returns on a daily and weekly basis are daily and weekly tasks. And I'm just going to show you everything because I want to show you how much there is actually to do in Skate. So you have the missions, you have the challenges, and you have these tasks to do. But once you've done the missions and you ranked up to level 10 on all 3 of the available parts of the city, it's getting a little bit boring, I gotta be honest. And then you keep doing these daily challenges and the daily tasks, and at some point it kind of starts to feel like you're only doing these challenges so you have something to do, or you only do them for these rib chips. And now I'm gonna explain you what these rib chips are. So in the top right corner you can see that I have 890 rib chips, and then to the left there is a 0 next to those purple chips or this purple currency. So it's a free-to-play game. There is a shop and you can buy Senven Box, which are these purple things. Prices are pretty similar to all other free-to-play games, and the prices for a skate deck, for example, are 150 of these bucks, which would be $1.5. But of course you also have different rarities, so the higher the rarity, the more expensive is the cosmetic, and the lower the rarity, the less expensive it is. It's the same for every free-to-play game. You also have these bundles right here, for example. You don't have to buy those, you don't have to like those, but of course you will see them maybe on other skaters occasionally. But what you can find here as well in the store are these product boxes or loot boxes, and that's what you use these rib chips for. For example, you buy one of those boxes, then it opens and you get a random cosmetic item that is part of this box. So right here, for example, I got a sticker, but you can also check every box for what you could get from it. So you can see what's in there and you can decide which box you want to buy. You cannot buy them with real money, you can only grind for them within the game, and you can only buy them with the in-game currency. And there are no duplicates as well, and there are no kind of fillers like titles, for example, that you can get infinitely from these boxes. So I'm not a big fan of loot boxes in general, but it's pretty transparent, and I think they found a good middle way in this game to make them less annoying. Now, of course, you can also customize your skater with all of this stuff that you buy or that you get from the loot boxes. So there's shirts, there's bottom shoes, there's complete outfits that I haven't seen any yet, there is headwear, there's eyewear, there's stuff for your board, so there's different kinds of decks, there's different kinds of grip patterns, there's grip colors, even so not only single colors, there's trucks, there's wheels. You also have gestures, different slots for this, and you can change your skater's appearance. You do this right at the start already, but you can change this at any time. Different faces, different hair, eyebrows, whatever else you know from other games, it's in here as well. And there is more to come within the live service. We already know there's slots for tattoos, for example, that are coming, I think, in the 1st or 2nd season. Now, finally going a bit more into the skateboarding part, I've already said that the city has a lot to offer from top to bottom, and you can take this quite literally because you can find a lot of spots on top of the buildings, but also on the streets and also in the underground. And to get there, we got a new parkour system, which is actually very useful. So whenever you find a spot or it's something interesting that you've seen and you want to get there, you just climb up there in Assassin's Creed style, and you can almost get to every spot in the city and to every place around the city. There are some limitations, but not too many. And of course, you can also get down there pretty quick whenever you want to. But this is not the only thing that is new in a new skate game. We also got new tricks. We got boned ollies, for example. We got wallies, we got slappies, we got refined power slides. You can do tricks in slow motion now. So if you flick your stick faster, the trick is faster. And if you flick your stick slower, the whole trick is slower and it looks like it's in slow motion. So this is new and it's all based on the well-known flick-it system. So that's still the same. If you move your stick down and you move it up, you do an ollie. So if you're familiar with the old games, then you feel right at home with this system. But Skate also offers more beginner-friendly layouts for the system. So we have a streamlined system, for example, and we have a classic and we have an experienced version. In general, we have a lot more options now to adjust the game to our needs. With the assists, for example, you can adjust how much assist you want or not, how you want your camera and the advanced camera, a lot of accessibility in general settings. You can actually make this game as casual as you want it, or you can make it as realistic as you want it, just from the controls and from the feel of it. Of course, there are limitations to the realism, and you won't turn this into a session, for example, but there is not this one feel to it, but you can actually adjust it. And overall, compared to the old Skate games, this new one also has a lot better physics, so every trick looks so much better, looks so much more natural in general. It feels so much better when skating, when playing it. As usual, you also have a replay editor, of course, that you can use to record and edit your lines and your best tricks and then save them to your device. It's not quite perfect yet. There are still a few things missing, like keyframes, for example. You can't set them yet, but you already have different cameras and angles that you can choose from and move it around. It's okay, and we already know from the roadmap that there are new features coming, so we don't have to wait for too long for this. There's also a large amount of music, of different playlists that you can find. You can also pick up music around the city, which I think is also a pretty cool feature. Grab the music and it's added to your library, and then you can add it to your favorite playlist if you like the song, or maybe never listen to it again if you don't like it. But it's something that keeps you exploring the city, and I think this is also where Skate actually shines, in freely roaming around and in exploring the city, and not in just sticking to the missions and to the challenges and the tasks. I think this is more like things to do on the side if you want to do them, but it's not the main part of the game. But I'm gonna go more into this in a second, because what I want to show you before is another feature that is coming back. It's not new, but it's coming back, and that's the quick drop. So you can, whenever you are at a spot and you think that it needs something more, maybe it needs a rail, maybe it needs a kicker, maybe whatever you want to add, or maybe you want to add some props like a bench, for example. You can do this, and you can just place things around and raise them and lower them and place them in whatever way you want to, and then you can skate them. Now, you might be wondering, well, what happens if I'm skating a spot and someone else is placing an object right in the middle of that spot, and then I'm not able to skate it anymore? Well, the devs also thought about this, because for every object that is from another player, you can just go to the object and deactivate it. So it's still there, but it's becoming invisible for you, and you can actually skate right through it, and it's not blocking your path anymore. And this might be something that you might encounter every now and again, because Skate is an online-only multiplayer experience. And this might be something that not everyone likes in a Skate game, but for me personally, I was skeptical about this as well, since I'm usually someone who also likes to just skate around by myself and not necessarily want someone who is around all the time. But I gotta be honest, while playing this multiplayer environment and having other skaters around me all the time, it grew on me more and more. And by now it's actually what makes the game most enjoyable for me, because you have all of these random encounters that make it so fun and hilarious. Sometimes you just freely roam around the city and you just explore and look for spots that you might have not skated yet. And then you just run into a group of other skaters that are around the spot. Maybe they have added some objects to it to expand it, and you just join them. And sometimes you start skating a spot and then more and more people jump in and join you. And every time this is happening, I'm having a blast and I'm actually having the best time in this game. And I think that this is actually what this entry of Skate was made for, because this is really when Skate starts to shine, and you can feel that this is actually the strong suit of this game. Skate around with your friends or make new ones along the way. And that's also why I said that doing these challenges is more of a thing you do on the side, because the whole city and the whole game is more made for you to explore it. And I gotta be honest, it took me a while to see this as well in this game, because when you open it and you see these more, I don't know, a lot of people compare it to Fortnite, and I can't blame them, but you see this Fortnite-esque graphic style, you might be skeptical and you might be wondering if this is actually a game that deserves the name Skate or not, and if this is actually a decent entry to the series. But the more I played it, I gotta be honest, it really grew on me, and I found a lot of fun just roaming around, exploring the city and skating with others, which, like I said, I think is actually what skateboarding is all about. But of course, not everything is great in this game, and not everything is perfect. Of course it's not, because it's an early access, but there's also, aside from the typical early access stuff like bugs and glitches, there's also some more stuff for the developers to do. So there are still tricks missing, like dog slides, for example. We also know that they will be added, I think in season 3, but they are missing right now. There are other tricks missing, there are other features missing. The city itself, you can see that it's not fully finished yet. It still looks a bit, well, I would call it sanitized. It's not as vivid as it could be. I'm also missing some modes, for example, like death races from Skate 3, because I really like them and I would like to see them return. But I think that with this early access, the devs are on a good track. The game runs pretty well. It feels more polished than it did in even some of the recent playtests. The early access we have right now is a good start, and if they keep working on it and if they keep delivering when it comes to improvements, when it comes to updates, to tweaks, to fixes, also when it comes to missing features and tricks, I think in a year from now, because that's the amount of time that the early access is planned for, I think in a year from now we will have a decent Skate game. Right now, in its early access, for me personally, Skate is, I'd say, a 6.5 out of 10. I'm having fun in the game, but there are still a lot of things missing that I would love to see. And after a while, it still gets a bit boring and repetitive. So I hope that with the seasonal content, they can deliver more interesting stuff, and they can deliver things that keep us coming back to the game, and I hope that they will keep improving the game so it's just getting better and better, and that it will also become a game that I will love to frequently return to, just like I did with Skate 3 over the past 15 years. And yeah, I think I covered everything that I wanted to cover and that is important for you to know if the game is worth playing or not. If you want to add something from your experience, if you're already playing the game, let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to drop a like and subscribe, because of course there will be more content for Skate coming up, and I'm gonna see you in the next one. Bye bye!